to the cloud. Okay, good. All right, so we are set. So thank you all for being here. Oh, there's Lindsay, just one sec. Okay, so thank you all for being here. We are so excited to kick off this series. Today kicks off this workshop series, so stay tuned for more additions to this series. This is the beginning of many workshops that we'll be offering on tools that you can use for your business and sparking the magic, right, in your marketing. So I really love this. And this is really one of the myriad ways that our chamber is in your corner, providing resources to grow your business. I'm especially grateful today to our newest board member and next presenter in this workshop series, Fungai Chichawangana, who is in the audience today, who introduced us to Talyn, our presenter. So thank you, Fungai. But as you can see from her bio, she has had international experience, and with it has developed personal branding blueprints for diplomats, large businesses, small businesses. So I am thrilled that she is here today to share that expertise with you. Before we get started, I just want to tell you that we're going to randomly select 2 people, but I have 2 $25 gift cards to give away at the end, all right, for Amherst area. So I want to thank you for being here and thank you for investing this time in your business with us. So with that, Talyn, I should have been doing this, make you a co-host. Did I make you it?
And I'd love to share my screen. That would be great.
Yes, so you are host, so you can take it away.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much for having me today. Just a little disclaimer, I'm actually sick. My head is burning up and I may lose my voice during this, but I'm going to power on through. And I also have my breakfast ready, which I have not eaten yet. So I am committed to the cause, everyone. So I see a few familiar faces in this audience and some new ones too. So it's really nice to meet everyone. I'm Talyn Rahman-Figueroa. I'm your personal brand consultant at Boss Diplomat. And if anyone knows me, I love doing a show and tell. So I don't just like telling you what I do and help you imagine how I can help your business. I like to show you. So I put together this brand strategy case study. So this is a live client. Her business is launching actually in the next week or so on International Women's Day on March 8th. So it's very, very new. So I thought this will be a really great case study to show off. She's based in North Carolina and she's in a very difficult industry. She's one of the newest CBD companies in the area. And as a result, we knew that we had to amp up her brand. If her brand isn't strong enough, then she's just going to water away and melt away in the background, like so many other CBD companies. So I thought this would be a really cool case study to share with you. So a little about me. As you probably can hear from my accent, I'm from the UK and I moved in Western Massachusetts in 2019. You're probably asking, why are you in Western Massachusetts? My husband is actually originally from Chicopee, so we swapped hometowns. So we were living in London for about 10 years and now I'm here and it's already been 3 years living in Western Massachusetts. But I've been in and out of this country for the last like 15, 20 years. So I'm not actually new here. And I can't say that I'm new to living here anymore because it's been 3 years. I'm not a newbie anymore. So right now I specialize in empowering solopreneurs to become the face of their business. When I first moved into this country, I used to do digital marketing, but there were so many competitors. And then I narrowed my niche down to just branding. And then the minute I did that, it opened up a lot of doors for me because a lot of small businesses, they think of branding at the very end. When you start to make more money, that's when you start thinking about upgrading your brand, but that's really expensive. You need to start doing that at the beginning. And then when you have a really strong foundation for your business, you can start building, you can start layering, and you don't have to change your identity. Changing your identity is one of the hardest things to do. If you try to change your personal identity, imagine how difficult that would be. The same thing goes with your business. So being authentic is a really big part of what I do with solopreneurs. And I'm going to show you how. So let's see how I help an anesthetic nurse become the face of their new CBD business. And the company that I'm talking about is called the healing consultant. Now, the healing consulting is the name that she came up with. I was referred to her by her web designer. So her web designer started to put together an e-commerce website. The problem with her, the problem that they were coming across was the fact that it was so bland. She was very clinical. She didn't know how to express herself. She didn't know what story and what angle to approach the company. And as a result, the website content just felt really, really stale. So they decided, okay, we need a branding expert to help ignite some, some energy and some personality into this business that hasn't even got a face yet. So that's where I came in. You can see my photo. All right, so let me introduce you to my client. Her name is Vanar Spencer. She's an anesthetic nurse who was driven by her own experiences to create an empowering CBD product. Her company was started after she lost her son. And then very soon she also lost her husband in the same breath. So she had a lot of loss in her life in a very quick succession. She went into deep depression, and just before her husband died, the story is that he was giving her these gummies. She was just blindly taking them, but she felt amazing after taking a few of them. And then she found out that it wasn't just that normal like multivitamins that she was consuming, it was actually CBD. And then she went into a huge rabbit hole of learning more about CBD, because as a Western educated nurse, there's a lot of misconceptions about what CBD is, and is it marijuana? Is it cannabis? Is it this? So she had to relearn about what this wonder drug is and how it's actually helped her. So now she's on a mission to help people just like her who are struggling with trauma, loss, and stress. Vanna is very clinical. She's a nurse. She thinks like a nurse. She's very black and white. There's no grays. So it's very hard for her to like express herself and who she is and what she is. And her personal life is very private to her, right? She's not going out and saying, well, because my son died, I started this company. But now I've actually used that as her launching pad, her real story. But the goal of this story is to help others open up to her and her company, and the fact that they're going through something similar, and it's okay if it's okay for Vanar to take something like this, and maybe it's okay for me too. So her demographic is people just like her age group, both men and women. And because this is a really crowded market with a lot of newcomers, a lot of these CBD companies are very anonymous, right? So they're behind the scenes. You don't know who's running it. You may have a name associated to the business, but you don't actually see the face. I'm ripping up that Band-Aid. She is the face of the company now. When you see her, you feel very, she's very approachable, very warm, very friendly. She has that, that Southern accent that makes me a bit weak. So, so she's got all of these, good qualities going for her. So we wanted to use that to her advantage. So the first thing we did was the brand blueprint, and this is what this workshop is all about. But I'm going to talk about various things that I did with this client. The brand blueprint is the first thing that I usually work with all of my clients, because this is kind of like your business plan, your business DNA when it comes to branding and marketing. Without this, it's very hard to start building up your marketing campaign, because imagine if you're working for yourself, but then you hired out someone else outside of your company to do your marketing, and then you hired somebody else to do social media, someone else to do websites, someone else to do email marketing campaigns, and they're all running off a different script. It's very hard to maintain your brand when you don't have that consistency. So the brand blueprint is the document that you then share to your marketing team, and they work off this story. They work off the mission, vision, goals. So I don't know if you can see, but the backstory, this is her backstory and how it's linked to the company. This becomes her biggest about us page. The mission, vision, and goals is very succinct, it's very strategic. So with her, the mission of the company is to help women manage, it's not women anymore, it's just individuals in general, to help manage stress, pain, trauma with self-care packages. And the vision is to normalize the necessity of self-care, especially for people who don't put their needs at the highest priority. So that's who she's targeting. When it comes to target audience, I break it down into 3 parts. So you have one primary target audience and you slash it into 3 different components. That way you're not pigeonholing yourself when it comes to your products or your services. And then just think of a darts board. You always have a bullseye. We want to make sure that every marketing message hits that bullseye every single time. That is the main audience that you're talking to. And then anyone who's outside of that bullseye becomes your secondary audience. So you're not necessarily aiming to get them as your clients or your customers, but they're interested in you and they still want to work with you, even though you're not directly targeting them. Of course, you're going to say yes to their business. It's money coming through the door, but you're not going out of your way to build a relationship with them. So the primary target audience is really critical. And in my few years being in Western Massachusetts, I have noticed that a lot of businesses are guilty of saying, I work with everyone. Now, when you work with everyone, you work with no one. It's very difficult for you to talk and be consistent and be succinct with how you're talking about your business if you're trying to get a wide net of clients into your business. Now, when you become very focused, you're only going to attract the highest, like people who are quality, people who are willing to pay the price that you're charging. And in fact, when people work with me, I go through a huge pricing structure with them. I look at the key services, which is actually right here. Key services is behind this door. I look at the key services and then I do a cost benefit analysis and look into how much is your business costing you and how much money do you need to raise in order to increase your prices. Now, one of my clients went from charging $50 an hour to charging $500 for a session because she wasn't seeing the value that she was providing. She wasn't confident enough to charge that amount. Vanar's the same. Vanar was originally going to offer free consultations to people who wanted customized self-care packages. And I said, no, never give your time away for free, even if it's a consultation. If it's a consultation, that becomes a one-on-one, that, as a way to, establish a relationship with that customer or that partner or whoever that individual is. But you're not saying this is a free consultation because some people don't want that consultation. They just want to get to know you. So how you phrase things is really important. But if they're after your expertise, you better believe it. You're going to charge for that expertise, okay? You do not give your expertise away for free. Put a number on it. And if people are serious about wanting to meet you and wanting to talk to you, then they're going to pay that. They're going to pay that money. So that was the backstory. So I transformed Vanar's story of personal healing into a call to action for others just like her, going through this journey of emotional wellness. And through this strategic positioning, she's now her very own brand ambassador for the Healing Consultant. So she's providing inspiring guidance and trusted products that enables individuals from all walks of life to find courage in times of uncertainty in their personal life. Oh my God, my nose is running now. I'm losing my voice. Okay. And I've got now I've got the 9 o'clock sun in my face.
Talyn, can I interrupt for 1 sec?
Absolutely.
Because you're on a roll. I did hear from another, I follow a bunch of folks on Instagram, and she said one of the things, just to give your voice a break, she was saying this very same thing. Someone said to her, because she was thinking it's too expensive, this rate. And she said, well, maybe I'm not for everyone.
Yes.
So I thought that was a great response. And, it is so hard for us to ask, but yet, so anyway, I thought that was a really great way of, like you said, you are not for everyone. So to your point, she's a solopreneur as well and learned that very clearly. So
no, that's important because and this is why I say there's no competition, because when you are focusing on, I guess, your lane, you're staying in your lane, but you're doing the absolute best. I know you're killing it and you're attracting only the people that you want to attract in your business. You can have 3 or 4 other people doing exactly the same thing as you, but if your target audience is different from them, they're not a competitor anymore, they're a partner or they're a referral partner. So that's the way I like to think about, you know, people who are in competition with other businesses. There's enough for everyone, but it's how the decisions that you make for your business is critical. You have to decide who you really want to help. And I think this is this is true for everyone, including myself. It's very hard to know which angle you want to go with your story because you don't know which one will be the most important for your audience. So, and this is where I come in and help these individuals. So speaking of story, Claudia, just to rest my voice, are you okay to read Vanna's backstory? This is the story that we're using for all of her marketing.
Absolutely. Take a breath and have some breakfast. So Varnar's new brand story. No one tells you how to cope when the unimaginable happens to you. I thought I had it all, a beautiful family, a great job. I loved being the wife, the mother, the nurse, the activist. But when my son was tragically taken from me, I felt as though my world had ended. Every breath, every day felt labored, like my soul left with him. Incapacitated, I couldn't get up. Then one day I started to feel well again. I was able to cope with my despair bit by bit, and I was able to get out of bed. My husband had been giving me vitamins, quote unquote, which turned out to be CBD gummies. He opened my eyes to alternative therapy that was demonized by my career in nursing. CBD gave me the strength to face my reality instead of masking my pain. Antidepressants fogged my brain, but a drop of cannabis made me feel euphoric. As an aesthetic nurse of Western medicine, I was once skeptical of what this wonder drug could do. As a woman needing help, this is unbelievable. I now stand by the therapeutic value it brings in helping you deal with emotional stress and trauma. As the healing consultant, I'm here to help women like me cope with loss, trauma, stress, and pain. With my daily care package, you will feel supported with natural coping tools to help you see another day. Work with me, and together we can go on the road to healing those wounds.
You were getting emotional, Claudia.
Oh, I am. I'm always, everyone knows it. Anyone on this call that knows me, oh, wow.
Yep. And this is how I write about every one of my clients that do branding with me. It's when, so when you're a solopreneur, you are the face of your business. You can't run away. There's no hiding it. When you deliberately put yourself in front of your business and you are visible, people are gravitating towards your business, not because of your business, but because of you. So you can have a million copycats. You know, there could be other people that say, oh, I love the healing consultant. You know, it's like the China syndrome, right? You'll have fakes, you'll have fake companies and doing what you're doing, changing the logo a little bit, maybe tweaking the colors slightly, and then boom, it's the same business. The thing that's missing is you, the person who's running the company. That cannot be copied. It's very hard to copy a human being. So why are we not using that to our advantage? Why are we not using ourselves as an advantage to drive more business, to get more people on our corner? And this is the work that I do with personal branding. Does anyone have any comment about Vanna's story, how you felt when Claudia was reading this? Claudia, maybe you can pick on some people. I don't like talking all the time.
Hi, this is Emily. I think my comment is just it's invoking your emotions. So I think that's what you're trying to achieve, right? So people could relate to the process or to the healing that she's promoting.
Yeah. And within this audience, do you guys have a story like this for your own business? I see some possibilities to work together. Okay, so let's move on. So one of the other things that we do is, first of all, the brand story is very important. So she uses that story for everything now. It's on her thank you cards. It's in her video promotion. We use that story to capture her photos. You're going to see the befores and afters as well. It's a really big part of everything. It's everything. The visual brand. So this is how the brand and the business looks. So when we first started, she didn't have anything, no colors, no logo, nothing. So the way I put together your brand, your business brand colors, again, is based on you. It's your inspiration. So when we were first talking, I asked Vanna, when you're at your most stressed out, overwhelmed, ready to pull the plug on everything, what brings you down? You know, what brings you down? What brings you back to earth? What anchors you? And, you know, I get my clients to sit down, you know, take a deep breath, close their eyes and just, you know, go within themselves to see what sort of images comes up. And these are the images that she shared with me. She was saying how much she loved strolling on a cloudy beach. She's a really big practitioner of Tai Chi. And a dragonfly is a really big component to this business. So what was one of the stories that she shared with me was just after her son was killed, a dragonfly came to her in her dream. And it was almost like a reincarnation of him, of her son. And I think there's like, I'm misquoting this really, really badly, but when someone passes away, if there's a dragonfly nearby, it's a sign of good luck. So she really like held onto that image, a dream that she had, you know, close after this tragedy happened, and she held on to it. And guess what? We held on to it even more because this is now part of her logo. So just a disclaimer, I did not design the logo. This was something that was designed between her and her web designer, but I did help come up with the images and the vision. So this is what we came up with. And then the web designer then put together the logo assets and we put together the brand colors. So these colors are directly from these images that we put together for her. This is how we pulled out the colors. And then my job was to make sure that the colors actually work well. So we can't have like puke green with purple or something, you know, so it had to be something that is pleasing to the eyes. I do not look at color psychology when it comes to picking your business colors. You know, the whole, you know, what is it? You know, blue being a safe color. So a lot of banks use blue, or green being the color of money. So let's use green as part of our business and, you know, that kind of stuff. I move far away from that because imagine if every single business were to go into that color psychology and saying, well, I want my business to feel energetic, I'm going to use yellow, blah, blah, blah. Then there's nothing special about your business. You can't really, you know, you can't strongly articulate why you chose those colors. Now with Vana, she can say, well, the purple signifies a dragonfly in my dreams. And the, you know, the marigold gold is something that reminds me of my time when I'm doing Tai Chi and blah, blah, blah. So it's very personal now. And now we've embedded this into her business. And now she's super confident when she's putting this together. All right, let's talk a little bit more about image. And I don't mean the business image, I mean the image of you. So when you become the face of your business, so all of a sudden you have to give a damn about how you're presenting yourself. And this is something that a lot of people don't think about is, well, I don't care how I put myself together. I just need money coming into my business. Now, that's a little bit of a backward thinking. And also when you are the only person in your business who really is focused on, you know, making sure that you're presenting yourself well, you're consistent in how you're putting yourself together, and the way you're putting yourself together is consistent with your photos, your social media, your website, any videos that you do, you have that consistency, and that trust is established over and over and over again. So let's think about some famous people. Michelle Obama is someone I always bring up. When you think about Michelle Obama, you can instantly picture her in your head. Right? You can also picture the way that she dresses. She knows exactly what to wear, what colors to wear. There's a strategy behind how she dresses. This can be easily replicated if you were to do an image consultation. And this is what Vana and I did. So this is Vana's original photo. And she said, this is the best photo that I have of myself. And I said, look, you are now the CEO of your company. This is not going to do. And you cannot be camera shy anymore. You are now the face of your company. So a lot of the things that we do, I have to bolster up of confidence. And this is what I do for a lot of my clients. Their confidence is already low. And the reason, and when your confidence is low, you're undervaluing yourself. And then you're undercharging. And then you're going after whoever is willing to pay that $50 price tag. And then your business is suffering. And then you're stressed out. It's, you know, it has a ripple effect. But when you're confident, and you're confident in your story and confident on how you're putting yourself together, and you're confident that, wow, I'm worth $500 an hour. Okay, that's great. All of a sudden, it's that law of attraction. You're attracting the energy that you're putting out. So when Vanna and I first started, she was lacking appropriate imagery that represents her new role as the face and the brand ambassador of the healing consultant. So one of the things I do is we look into what colors are right for her. So every single one of us has a specific seasonal color palette. Men, women, it does not matter. We all have skin, we all have hair, we all have eyes, and we all have a certain color palette. So I will help you identify what is the best color palette for you. We go through a series of tests, and I will start training you on what you should be looking out for, depending on the colors you wear. Color is the first step. The second step is style. So you need a consistent wardrobe now. And the benefit of doing an image consultation is the fact that you're going to start to create a certain look for your business. What you wear at home, does it matter? What you wear in the gym, does it matter? What you wear in a formal attire, you can change things up. But this is your day-to-day look now. So this is the capsule wardrobe that I put together for Vanna. And obviously there's reasons why we went for this this kind of image. And then the last thing we looked into was her photography reference. So she's going to do new headshots for her business. I'm trying to chase the sun away from my face. Hang on. Okay. I'm like playing dodgeball with the sun right now. So I gave her some photography reference, and this is something that she can start practicing privately at home. Photographers will not pose you, okay, unless you're working with a brand photographer who is an expert in like, okay, move your shoulders like this, I do this and I do this, and unless you're working with a photographer who is an expert in posing you, a headshot photographer or a normal photographer, they will not pose you. So it's up to you to realize, what is my best side? If I do this, if I do this, if I do this, if I do this, like the angle on your face makes a massive difference on whether you're coming across as being authentic and friendly or arrogant. It's like this subtle changes can make a huge difference on how the kind of like impression that you want to build with your customers. So these are the befores and afters. This is the images that Vanna shared with me before we started image consulting. Look at the way she's posing. She looks very like she's, really uncomfortable being in front of the camera. She's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know how to smile. She's got a really dynamic smile. She wasn't using it. And now these are the photographs that we put together with the brand photographer that I chose for her. My brand photographer is based in Western Mass, and she flew all the way to North Carolina just to do this shoot. Now, these are the images that we're using for all of her business marketing. And then we talk about, speaking of marketing, these are her brand assets. So as you can see, consistency is key. So these are all of the things that I put together for her. We put together a Spotify playlist because, hey, if you're on a Delta 8 gummy, you're going to be a little like relaxed, and it's a good way to like encourage people to play a cool playlist and just, relax to it. Her business card, her soft launch invitations, an itinerary. So when it comes to soft launches, I help my brand management clients and help organize them. And her soft launch just happened over the weekend, so it's very exciting. And then over the weekend, she said, I'm doing another soft launch, so can you do this all over again for me? And it's like, okay, great. So she's doing another soft launch because the first one was so successful. This is her thank you card. So these thank you cards will go into her boxes. And this is her unboxing. So the unboxing is the difference between having a gift box that has, pretty, ribbons and stickers and tissue papers to an Amazon box that you just kind of like throw in the corner. When you have a product, how you put your products together in a box is really important as part of the user experience. Do you want your package to just be thrown to the side like an Amazon package that what's inside the box, right? You bought it. It's no surprise. You know exactly what's inside the box. But the way you present your products makes a massive difference on how much your clients will care about the product inside. So we put together this huge, like I did this massive research into, we looked at her budget. We looked at colors, I designed the the sticky tape, the boxes, the tissue papers, all with her brand on it. And then she decided, well, I don't like the purple. I want it to be white, because again, remember, she's very clinical. White is her color. So I was hoping she would go for the purple. She's like, I don't like the purple. I want the white. And I was like, okay, you are the boss. So you are, if you want white in your packaging, let's put white. But I put my foot down. You need some elements of purple. So the thank you card has the big purple, and then her tissue, there's little like crinkly paper, that's purple too. So there's some color added to her box. And this is what the inside of the box looked like. So we designed the labels, as you can see, right? The colors like really pop. So, this is what the inside of the boxes look like. And yeah, her official launch is coming up in a week. All right, so other things that I do, and then Claudia will be opening for questions and comments and just general chat. I also put together a social media strategy. What does that mean? I do not do day-to-day social media scheduling unless you're a brand management client. So with Vana, I do everything for her. But a social media strategy is basically giving you the tools to know exactly what to post about, and how often. So I put together this content strategy. So with Vana, we post 4 times a week. There's a theme for every single day. Monday, she's going to talk about her morning boxes, her morning self-care boxes. Tuesday's about life before CBT. So all of the stresses and the fact that she had no self-care and it was work, and just go to bed. Wednesday is a little bit of a promotion about her evening boxes and what that is, and how different, talking about the difference between her morning boxes and the evening boxes, because we have different needs as human beings for the morning to the evening. So the differences it's important to talk about. Thursday, life after CBD. So now that you've got CBD in your life, how different are you? So we're going to talk about those stories. Fridays, testimonials, reviews and shout outs. Saturday, women like me. So women like me who don't need help and we're drowning. That's going to be her theme. Sunday, any sort of fun challenges. So Vana does a lot of other things. So she's an activist. She does a lot of political activism. She loves gardening. She loves cooking. She loves her wine. That's any personal stuff that she likes. She can add it to that Sunday fun day. And then there's a live component too. So, you can go live on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatever. So at least there's a theme that she can talk about. And then the other thing that I also put together is a hashtag list. So instead of thinking about, what hashtag do I need? I put together 150 hashtags on a spreadsheet. So all you do is click, 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 and then boom, right at the bottom, you can copy and paste that hashtag and then schedule it in. I also do website redesigns. So what that means is I do not build website. That's Fungai's job. I don't build those websites. However, if you have an existing website and you absolutely hate your website, I can help you give it some life, give it some personality. I will put that strategy for you and put it all together. You can then go ahead and make those changes yourself. I can make those changes for you, or you can hire someone amazing like Fungai and make those changes on your behalf. So just a disclaimer here, Fungai is actually working on my website right now. So he's actually lifting my current website and putting it onto another platform. So he doesn't actually have to work on the personality of the website. That's done. Now he's just working on the technical stuff, and that's the stuff that I don't work on. The last thing that I work on is the unboxing. So again, the difference between an Amazon box to a gift box. Yeah, a gift to yourself box. All right, one last thing to cover. If you don't know what the Empower Digital Grant is, I hope this will really help you. So the state of Massachusetts is giving established businesses who are based and operating in Massachusetts up to $1,000 worth of brand work. So this is money that you don't have to pay back. And a lot of my clients, I've actually been putting a lot of people on the Empower Digital Grant. But I think the deadline right now, I think the grant is going to expire in June this year. So you still have some time. But if you've never thought about doing branding work and you don't want to pay for it, you don't have to. Someone else will pay it for you, and then I can do that work for you. So it's as easy as that. So if you're interested in this, please book a one-to-one with me. This is my scheduler right here, bossdiplomat.com/one-to-one. We'll have a conversation, decide what you need for your business project. I will then get you set up with a grant sponsor as your preferred vendor. So I have a few relationships with these grant sponsors. You need a vendor and you need a grant sponsor. Without those two, you won't get this grant. I will then go a step further and help you with the grant application. So if you're not tech savvy, or you're just like, oh my God, these numbers are not making sense, Talyn, can you help? Yes, I will help you fill out everything. And in fact, for a lot of my clients, there's a way to add me to your application, and then I could just go behind the scene, pop in all the numbers and give you a text and say, all right, your grant application is ready. Submit your paperwork and you're done. Make it that easy, guys. We then have to just wait 6 to 8 weeks, and then boom, we are off to work. That is it. That's how easy it is to get your hands on that money. And now this $10,000, it was $5,000. They only announced this 2 weeks ago. So they've doubled the grant allocation. So it's a really good opportunity. And there's my contact details if you want to reach out further. And I'm slowly dying now. So Claudia, I'll give my voice a little break.
I realized I was on mute. I apologize. Okay, this is awesome. And I'm so thrilled that you looped around to the grant. And I did forget that it's been doubled. So it has been 5,000 for so long. The state really wants to get that money out into the hands of the public. So it's so important that if you're part of a small business that may not need it, or you know of someone, please share that. We've been putting it in our email for a long time in our newsletter, but I will share it again about with the $10,000 level. But it's super important that you can get the tools you need with a grant that is free. So that's huge. But I would love to, I'm thinking if we should, when we're ready, I want you to take a minute, see her information. I just really appreciate you, Talyn, powering through this. I want to thank you for that and staying to your commitment for this. So it's deeply appreciated. But I also want to open this up to comments, questions. We have an expert here. You have questions for your business. We touched upon a lot of different pieces on branding, from telling your story to, actually launching your brand. And some of you are already deep into a brand. So, you may have questions for Talyn. So please, let's take this moment as an opportunity. Unmute yourself and feel free to ask Talyn, ask away. And don't jump all at once. Are there questions, comments, or things that you've experienced that worked or didn't work that you'd like to share? I know some of you are marketing experts, so.
I will just say kudos to you for being able to pull this off with a smile and feel like hell. You did a great job. Thank you. I have the utmost respect for you right now.
Thank you.
Well, I do want to say that I do love that you started, the base point was, I think the word you used was authentic. I think anything that we do for whatever business we're with, that authenticity is the basis for however we put our brand forward. So I really love that you started there, because that feeds into like your personal brand, your pricing, all those things, because you're repositioning, you're kind of putting yourself at the center, and it's not easy to do. I remember taking this job, and the first couple months, people said, we haven't seen a lot of pictures of you. I'm like, oh, that's intentional. And I just don't like being that face. It's not very comfortable thing. And so it's something you do have to lean into.
What is it? Get out of your comfort zone?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you get out of it's hard. It's hard to get out of that comfort zone. But then when you do, it becomes it becomes your second skin. So you'll have a professional you, and then the you that everyone knows. And this is what a lot of we see that in the celebrity world, right? Anyone who is publicly facing figure. So with my experience working with, governments, I see this all the time. They have their public face, and then they have their, okay, this is the real me that no one really knows. So the public face, you have to craft that, you have to build that, and you have to decide, right, what face do I want to show off to the public, so that they get me and they understand me, and I don't have to over explain myself. And you're basically eliminating a lot of that, uncomfortable conversation, because you're the person that you're just putting it out there before those questions can't start rolling in. And when you do that, you're bold enough to say, this is who I am, this is where I stand, and this is what I do. No one's going to question that. They're going to go, wow, okay, great. They know their stuff. They're really confident. Oh, I want to work with you.
Yeah. Can we stop sharing the presentation? This way we can have more of a conversation. There we are. Hi, everyone. Okay. Yay.
Question. And hi, I'm Lindsay. I think we met at one of the networking events before. So thanks for doing the presentation, and sorry you're sick. That's terrible. So, I have what I would consider a pretty small team, right? So it's not this never ending extensive budget, but also I 100% love everything you're doing, believe in the branding, have worked on it as much as I can myself. And it's really hard, right? It's really hard to keep up with your own brand. And, you have this great program set up to provide a lot of the big picture strategy, everything to get started on and all that. But then on the day to day, right, like upkeeping it, I guess what I've run into is and I guess my question for you, do you have a formula? Probably not one that you can just blurt out on this call, but that you help people figure out how much of their budget should be invested into a big strategy, and then how much they should be reinvesting over time into maintaining that upkeep. And at what point does it make sense? Do you need a full-time marketing team member to do it versus, if you're a solopreneur, just hiring a contracted company?
Oh, good question. Okay, so startup cost, maintenance cost, and then ongoing cost, right? So the way, so I'm with my services, I'm really transparent. All of my prices are on the website. And the reason why I do that is because number one, I don't believe in competition, because I'm from London, right? Competition is like everywhere. So when I feel like there's a lot of companies, they always say on their website, if you want to know how much our service costs, fill out this form and we'll get back to you. You've already lost them. You've lost their business, because you don't have time to wait 3 or 4 days for them to tell you, this is going to cost $10,000. You're like, this is way out of my budget. It's crazy. So my prices are completely transparent. So the work that I do is foundational. If you don't have a foundation for your business, I would start with, I always say branding is the last thing that people think of. It should be the first thing that people think of, because then it sets you up for your photographs, your marketing campaign, your website, everything. So with the maintenance cost, I think the ballpark price for maintenance should be about 15% of your net income, your net profit should go towards marketing, and then you'll have an allocation. So if you know how much you made last year, use that as a benchmark on how much money you have left over for your marketing. You should always have at least 15%. 15 to 20% is the higher end for your marketing. And if you're a solopreneur starting out, start with 5% and then increase it up all the way to 20%. That way you've got a small budget and you're using it to maintain what it is that you're maintaining. With branding, you shouldn't have to maintain your brand. Your brand is your brand. This is it. Your colors are not going to change next year or the year after. Your story doesn't really change because that's your foundation. And the way you put yourself together is not going to, it's going to evolve, but it's not going to drastically change, you know, unless you've decided next year my hair color is going to be blue and now my colors doesn't make sense. You're going to, that can, you know, the whole point about having a brand is you're maintaining that consistency automatically. So there isn't an ongoing maintenance fee, I guess, to maintain your brand. What you're going to need that money for is outreach. So you have your brand, and now you're building your marketing strategy. So, okay, great. My foundation is built. Now I need email campaigns and I need social media and I need people to see my brand now. So how do I build those roads to get the audience to see me and to put myself out into the audience? This is where most of your next money is going to go towards your marketing. And so I usually partner up with people in marketing. I'm not in competition with marketing agencies. I work with them. Once your foundation is built, you're going to need people to market your business if you can't do that yourself. What else did you ask, Lindsay?
No, that's perfect. That was amazing. I think it makes so much sense. Build the foundation, and then I like those measures that you have for you know, start off at 5% if you're brand new, but ideally your maintenance going forward, 15 to 20% makes sense. And it's great that you have contacts that you'd be able to help people get
Absolutely
set up with. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I also do like monthly brand management of my clients, but again, it depends on your budget, right? If you don't have the budget for it, then I have like, you know, there's ad hoc services. So the brand blueprint is an ad hoc service. The website redesign is ad hoc. The social media is ad hoc, but, you know, because that works for the solopreneurs that I work with. But then you have someone like Vana who's like, okay, just build everything. I'll pay you on a monthly basis. She's my retainer client. So I'm doing everything in a much more like concentrated fashion, and like I'm on call for her. So if she needs something, it's like done. It's done. I'm going to get it done for you. So she doesn't have to worry about that. It's just, she knows that there's someone, she's got someone in her marketing team that can just get things done. And she doesn't know how to make that happen, but she knows that if I just text Talyn, she's going to get it done for me. It's sorted.
Thanks, Rebecca.
I have a
Emily?
question.
Go ahead.
So first of all, my name is Emily. I have a startup in South Hadley, American Specialty Designs. It's brand new. So basically what we do is we do laser engraving, which is for brands, right? So I kind of, this is like a big surprise for me joining today, because this is pretty much where we're heading. We help companies promote their brand through drinkware and basically apparel, right? So my question would be is that we don't have a face. We only have the company. I know it's very stale because we don't have that people could relate to. So would that be a problem?
Well, okay, so I always say there's no competition, but you do still have to look at your competition. So you're a new company. Where are you based, Emily?
South Hadley.
South Hadley. Okay, so what I would recommend that you do, and again, this is something that I do for my clients. I do something called a brand analysis, where I check out your competitors. And I look at who could be stealing customers from you if you don't have a face, right? If you don't have a brand, who can be stealing your lunch money? And then what I do is I put together your huge competitors. I actually did one for a painter the other day. We looked into all of these painting companies in the area, and I ignored anyone who isn't digital or anyone who isn't online. So if they're not online, don't worry about them. They're not going to be found as easily as you. But then look at who are your indirect competitors and who are your direct competitors. So for my painter, he had over, I think there was like 5,000 competitors on his doorstep. And then I eliminated that because a lot of them were just using Facebook as their business face. And I said, okay, that doesn't count because they're not considered serious. So I think that removed like 3,000 people off that list. So we were down to 2,000, which is still a lot. Now, out of those 2,000 competitors, most of them, I think like 75% of them were up near Boston. Now that's like an hour and a half commute,
Or more.
you know, or more from Western Massachusetts to Boston. There is no way a painting team is going to drive that route every single day. And I said, all right, we can eliminate them from the, you know, from that list. And so we will whittle down to 253 competitors, which is still a lot. I looked at all of their websites, every single one of them. It took forever. And then I mapped it out. And out of those 253, 18 were like red flags. They are going to take your money. They are the ones that are going to, you know, steal business from you because you're local, you have a website, you don't look that bad. And if I could find you, someone else can find you too. So I recommend have a look at who your competitors are, who else is doing the same services that you're providing. Check out their website. Are they promoting themselves? Like, is the business owners in front of their business? If they're not, then maybe you should. Because if no one else is doing it and you're the only person, like, I'm Emily, I do this, blah, 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 people are going to feel like, well, she's brave enough to like show her face and, you know, be the face of their business. And I know who I'm going to talk to if I pick up the phone or email. You know, it makes a really big difference. If you're an anonymous business, then you're just kind of like, well, I'm just going to be passed on to customer services and they don't care.
All right. So I did do that too. I benchmark within my area, within my immediate county. So things remembered is I don't know if you guys know things remembered. So it's pretty much the same like what we do. We engraved you know, mugs, tumblers, glasses, and even create signs, right? So it's a combination of that. And I did that. The only thing is, like, you know, we are very shy people.
Yeah.
I know it's like business and shy doesn't go along together, but I like your idea, like putting it out there, having a face. So thank you for that. And thank you for what you're doing. You're very brave doing this while being sick.
Thank you. So a lot of my clients are introverts. As you can tell, I'm not an introvert. I'm very much an extrovert. But yeah, a lot of my clients are introverts. They do the work they do because they don't want to work for a corporation. They want their own freedom. They want to build their own funds. And, you know, the reason why we get into business, right? You want to be your own boss. And this is why I'm called Boss Diplomat. You want to be your own boss. It's okay for you to be shy. You know, if you're shy, that's fine. Just because your face is part of your business doesn't mean that goes away. But it just means you're just showing your confidence. Just having a picture on your website makes a massive difference to having no picture, you know. I've seen so many websites where the business owners, you know, the verbiage that they use on their website, you know, welcome to my website. I'm very happy that you're here. I. And it's like, well, who am I talking to? I don't even see your face. Oh, by the way, what's your name? Like, people forget this basic information.
So I have two questions for you, Talyn. The first one is, what inspired you to reestablish your business identity, right? To inspire you to actually find your own branding image. So the second one is, moving from UK to Chicopee or Western Mass. Is there like a big, right, cultural difference or business culture, right? Like the challenges you've overcome, like the difference you have noticed in marketing and branding?
Yeah. Oh, great question. Thank you for that, Alyssa. Okay, so think about the UK. It's run by corporations. It's run by big corporations. So it's very hard for a small business to survive in the UK. And so I used to work in the UK. I was a diplomatic consultant. I worked with governments. I worked with foreign embassies, and I worked with the British government on their strategic communications. And one of the organizations that I was working with is called the British Business Bank. And their job was to get money to the hands of small businesses, because small businesses in the UK were suffering really, really badly. because there's just not a lot of support there. So while I was working there, there was a huge cultural change on how do we support more small businesses, and the government was stepping up. So I was part of that program. Now, when I moved here, I was like, okay, I'm not in DC. I can't work with governments. And then, of course, the pandemic hit. So I was like, I'm definitely not working with the government. What do I do? The biggest cultural change I saw coming into this country is small businesses are everywhere compared to my country. Small businesses are everywhere. They're popping up. They're really successful. I mean, like Hampshire Towing. I know you guys, you're everywhere, so and then these big what I consider, I consider Hampshire Towing as a big company, but you're a family-owned company. But that's the impression, America has a lot of those types of companies. And then I thought, well, how can I help? How can I pivot from government to small businesses? And this is how. Branding, branding, there's not a lot of branding experts here. And a lot of businesses were not doing it well. And I thought, wow, imagine if I can help as many solopreneur businesses as possible. And honestly, the doors opened up to me because of the Empower Digital grant, because solopreneurs were not able to hire me for my fees. And I told them, I'm not discounting, I'm not negotiating on my prices. And the price is what it is. Like, you have to be confident with what you're putting out there. So with my brand blueprint, I'll give you an example. When I first started, I didn't know what the landscape here was. I didn't know how much to charge here. So for me, it was like, whoa, this is huge. I could get $1,000 just to do one blueprint. My blueprint was $999 when I first started, and now it's like $3,500, because everyone was saying, wow, you provide so much value and you're really cheap. Like, an agency will charge you $10K. And I'm thinking, well, I'm not going after medium-sized companies. I'm going after individuals who run their own businesses. So I want to make sure it's affordable for them. And when you work with me, you get so much out of me. Like, I put all of my eggs in your basket. Like, I go all in. So that's the difference between the UK landscape here and people here. People here are willing to pay the price if they know that they're working with someone that will give them a lot. And I think it's true for all of you. Like, if a lot of my clients, they will come up to me and they're not very confident people. And there's an particular client of mine, she called herself a success coach. And the first thing I said was, what on earth is a success coach? And she's trying to articulate it, and she's having a hard time describing what she does. And when we did her brand blueprint, I rebranded her as the passive income strategy coach. She is now focused on helping business owners get a second income stream that is passive for their business. And now all of a sudden, from being a success coach, she's now focused on passive income. It's a massive mind shift. Just yesterday, I'll give you a story. One of my clients, he's a mental health wellness coach, and I'm redesigning his website. So I'm using his existing platform and just giving it color and personality. His face is now on, and the first thing you see is his face. And 2 weeks ago, I emailed him saying, your website's ready, have a look. I have not heard back from him. And yesterday he emailed me. He said, I'll be honest, I was really, really scared and I was procrastinating, but I finally had a look at the website and I love it. And I was like, why are you scared? Why are you scared? And he said, because it's such a big shift from going to this to this. And this is what I do. I pivot my clients into another path if it's not the right one for them. You're not changing what you're doing. You're just changing how you're doing it, how you're presenting yourself.
Wow. Okay. Great questions and great information. Does anyone have any other questions for Talyn?
Actually, I have a question and comment, or a
Hi,
few
Jeff.
comments.
Yes.
So I just want to introduce myself. I'm John Neves. I work for Hampshire Towing in the Johnson Group since Hadley, Mass. But I have an interesting backstory similar to the lady we're talking about today. So you know how you said she lost her two sons, or her son and her dad, or husband. Well, I lost my dad when I was 15. And I also played golf for American International College. And I think about it every single day, how I'm going to incorporate that into the Johnson Groups in Hampshire Towing. And I just had that question for you. How do I incorporate that life life branding story that people can relate to into the Hampshire Towing and the Johnson groups.
We need to have a chat. I think we need to have a chat. So the process of the blueprint. So I'll give you I'll share the information about the process of how this works. The brand blueprint is 3 meetings, 3 consultation. The first meeting is me listening to you. Like I will guide you with, information that I need from your blueprint. Whatever you share with me, I automatically assume, well, if you're sharing it with me, you're willing to share it with the public. So you will give me all of that information, and then I will go away. And the next time you and I meet, you will see your draft blueprint. Like in the second meeting, you will see everything that I shared with you in the presentation. You get to see what your story looks like. And then what we do is, with like a red pen, we will go through everything line by line to make sure that the story is accurate. It feels like you, it sounds like you, and it tries back to your audience. There's a reason why you're doing what you're doing. People need to know that. What that reason is, you and I will discover that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing that story, Jack.
Yeah, there's definitely all of us, it comes from someplace. And so having that story. Also, I think today was a really good reminder of the many pieces and facets to marketing. Marketing is such a big, big process. And there are so many components that you talked about today, from just the storytelling right there, just that one start, to the actual, you did the storyboarding, the coloring, right? The color assets. And thank you so much, Fungi. We'll see you next time on March 15th. But, I think that there are so many pieces to this. And you even talked about scheduling. You went from all of that, developing this brand blueprint, then to actually putting everything into action, all the social media, the email, the scheduling you have to do. Then there's actually the content. Who's going to write the content and push it out? And how do you do that? And so there are so many steps to it. We as a chamber are constantly balancing all of that as well. There's so much coming at us. We're trying to, sell our chamber, but also sell our members, right? Like it's a twofold story. And so it's a super challenge. And but I also recognize the many facets of marketing. And for a small business, it's really hard. Sometimes I see the struggle. And one of the things we saw during COVID is a mindset shift, that businesses really realize that these tools are out there. It's really important that if you really want to tell your story, you need to get these tools, you need to access these tools. And as John was saying, like from towing, like you need to put yourself out there a little bit, because that's going to attract the customer, because it makes you real, it makes you connected, because that is kind of, it's still, for me, I still believe it's the human connection. That story of Anar, like that's a human connection. We all love Anar already, and we don't know her, but we so appreciate, right? And value already. There's such a value. So,
you know what? And it also doesn't matter what your business is. When you put yourself out there, you don't know Vanna, you already love her. That's what you want for your business. It doesn't matter whether you're selling rocks or, selling candy. It makes no difference. When you put yourself out there, it just you're showing your customers, you're making that much more of an effort to get them connected to you.
Yes, there it is.
And that's what people want, especially like post-COVID. Like people want that human interaction, even if it's digital.
Right. Well, I just want to thank you so much, Talyn. This has been remarkable. And I do want to remind folks again that there is a digital empowerment grant. So when you're looking for support from folks like Talyn and Fungi and other folks that are in our community who are offering such services, it is available to you, and it's going to end in June. So I will get that information out to everyone, as well as we'll share this recording. But I just want to thank again, Talyn, for powering through this today, for everyone who stuck with us. I hope we all stay in touch, and we'll see you next time on March 15th. We'll be in person at Homewood Suites with Fungi, talking about your digital footprint and putting that branding into action.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep an eye on my website. He's going to be, he's currently working on it now, but what you see right now on my website is my work. But yeah, he's doing.
He'll have to do a digital show and tell.
It's not going to look any different. It's going to look exactly the same, but it's just on a different platform. So he's working on the technical elements. It's still going to look like the same website. You're not going to really notice.
Yeah, but those are all the other things, right? The SEO, the things that are behind.
Yeah, behind the scenes. Yeah. So basically, he's the face. I do the face work, and he does the, he looks under the hood, so to
The
speak.
hood.
I'm the painter, and he's the mechanic. There you go.
I love it. All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you so much for showing up, everyone.
Alan, feel better.
Thank you. I'm going to go to bed now.
Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank